For the second time in less than a year, the North Carolina Association of Realtors has updated the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, and that's what we're breaking down in today's video. If you haven't met me before, my name is Chris Cox. I am the education director for a small little real estate school here in North Carolina called Level Up Learning. And in today's video, as I mentioned, we are going to go over some of the major changes in February 2025 to the exclusive right to sell listing agreement. I'm going to highlight some of the what I think are the most important updates in here. Most importantly, went down from 13 pages to 7 pages. So they really tightened up a lot of stuff, got rid of some of the fluff. So let's break it right down. So as I mentioned, one of the major things is that it went from 13 pages down to 7, but we are going to cover two big changes, but most importantly, these forms go into effect immediately. You should start using these immediately. There is a 30-day grace period for using the old forms, but these should go into effect right away. There is a major update to how compensation is stated in the listing agreement, so we're going to take a close look at that. And they have done a great job, in my opinion, in organizing dual agency so that it mirrors very closely to the exclusive buyer agency agreement that they updated in July of last year, and then in January again this year as well. So let's go into some of those changes as we get moving forward here. So a small change here in the fixtures section, section 4, they have added electric vehicle chargers to the fixture list as it is attached to the property, but they just made sure that they called that out there. So with the advancement of a lot of these electric car features, you are going to see some of these new fixtures being included, just to clarify that that should be a fixture. So change number 1 there. I think it's a good one there with the electric car charger, just clarifying that those are in fact fixtures. Major change here is going to be down with the fees and costs. So section 7 is now called fees and costs for services. Highlighted, capitalized. Seller understands that the amount, format, and rate of real estate compensation is not fixed by law, but is set by each broker or firm individually and is fully negotiable. Part B here, firm's fee. This is where you're going to put what your firm is going to be receiving for the services of listing that property. So in here, you're going to put what are your firm's fees for that. This is also a section where if any administrative fees are going to be included in that, you can add that under other as well. So whether you're receiving a percentage or a flat fee for your services, this is again going to be just your firm's fee, which is a major departure from how the exclusive right to sell listing agreement was used before. It's kind of where we put all of the total fee that was going to be. So major change there. Make sure you're putting just your firm's fee in that. Going on right below that, we have section C of paragraph 7, and that is compensation to cooperative compensation to other agents. So this very clearly states out that the seller has no duty to offer compensation to an agent working with a buyer, and that these are the seller has provided the firm has provided the seller the best advice of the advantages on offering compensation, and the seller does or does not agree to offer compensation. And then so this is what the firm is authorized to offer the seller, if that is how your firm practices paying out that, or is it going to be the seller that is going to be directing paying that amount as well? So you're going to check off one of those, or is the firm going to offer compensation based on some other policy that you have there, if you have that available to you. So some other highlights there I do like to mention here, and you should be making sure you're pointing this out, in my opinion, at your listing presentations. Nothing in this section will prohibit seller from later offering buyers to pay buyers' expenses in purchase contract, or later offering cooperative compensation directly to a cooperating agent in a separate document. So this is saying that, hey, in the listing agreement, for example, maybe we decided we're not going to offer cooperative compensation, but through the offer and negotiation process, that has come out, and nothing in this agreement says that they can't do that or change their mind down the road about that. So major changes. Then we got section B is going to talk about what your firm gets. Section C is going to be all about what the cooperating compensation is going to be. And then we've got section D, which is going to put those together. So section D is going to be the total cost. That is going to be the firm's fee plus the cooperative compensation. So B plus C is going to equal D, and is clearly spelled out in here. And then it goes into a very clear clarification of when the fee is earned and when the fee is due and payable. They've also kind of tightened up the protection period and added it in here. And this very clearly states, however, the seller signs a valid listing agreement with another real estate broker before seller agrees to sell or convey the property, then this protection period will not apply. And then D, that is due and payable upon the closing of the contract. So major changes to paragraph 7. Make sure, for example, when I'm going over these with sellers, I have a lot of stuff highlighted in here in a paper copy that I am going over with them before they even get anywhere near digitally signing that, if that's the avenue that we're going for that listing agreement. So moving on, we got a minor change here. In minor yet could be major. In the earnest money deposit and due diligence fee, there has now been added a section. It was kind of always defaulted in the previous listing agreement that it was agreed upon that if there is any default on the buyer's behalf, that any earnest money deposit that was forfeited would be split 50-50 between the listing firm and the seller. Now there is a chance for you to agree to split any earnest money forfeited, or does agree or does not agree. So now you've got this spelled out in here very clearly that you're going to need the seller to check off that they do or they do not agree to split any forfeited earnest money deposit, which hopefully we never get to, but we know it does happen from time to time. So a little change there, but I think that's a great one there, just clarifying that. And again, you should be having conversations with your sellers around all of these things. So this is another one that's going to be highlighted when I'm going over the listing agreement with my clients. Moving into the final major change, again, there's several, lots of reorganization things, but the final major change that we're talking about with the exclusive right to sell listing agreement is going to be around dual agency. So it starts off with very clear, at least the clearest that I've seen on any listing agreement, of what the terms of dual agency is and what it means. So goes over the firm will act as a seller's exclusive agency until dual agency occurs. So even though they're authorizing it, it doesn't happen until dual agency actually occurs. So a very clear and clean list. You should familiarize this so that you're able to read this upside down as an example when you're at a listing presentation, so that you're very clear and comfortable communicating dual agency, because from everything that I've seen from the North Carolina Real Estate Commission, this is probably making up still about almost 50% of the complaints that the North Carolina Real Estate Commission receives on an annual basis is around dual agency and, of course, material facts. So it still seem to be the two biggest things, even though they're part of our Gen Up and BIC Up every single year. So after that, you have that explanation of dual agency. It then goes into the authorization. So they have made this kind of mirror almost exactly what the exclusive buyer agency agreement now says. But you need to slow down on this, and you need to be very clear, because I've seen this come across, and I've had conversations with other brokers on this. They're just not understanding what is in here. So make sure that you have a great understanding. So you've got the first two is the first section is the seller authorizing dual agency, and they're going to do one of these two. It's going to be either acting as dual agency, or they will not act as a dual agent, so that the seller is not authorizing that, or that they are authorizing the firm to act as a dual agent. It's one or the other. It cannot be both. If you have checked off here, the firm may not act as a dual agent in a transaction involving the seller, then there is nothing needed in this section below. So if they say no, then there's nothing that is needed here. If they do say yes, so if they say yes, firm may act as a dual agent, now they're looking for further clarification in which way are you authorizing the firm to practice dual agency. So it's going to be one of these three. You cannot check all three of these. It's not possible for you to act as a dual agent in all of these ways based on the question that is above that. So if the answer to this question is may not, you're done with that section. If it is may, then you have to do one and only one of the following three. And that is seller does not authorize the same agent to represent both the buyer and seller. Seller does authorize the same agent to represent both seller and buyer in dual agency, or the seller directs firm to practice designated dual agency, which is that another agent from the firm can practice if that is what your firm allows and if it is allowed under North Carolina law. So again, clarify one final time. If you have may not act as a dual agent, then nothing is needed here. If you have may act as a dual agent, then it is only one of these three that is going to be initialed. And then it goes into waiver, material facts that those need to be disclosed regardless. Even if you are in a dual agency, material facts still need to be disclosed. So those are the major changes. There is some other reorganization that I think you should definitely familiarize yourself with. If I was giving any kind of critique on the updates, this is the next section that needs to be cleaned up, because this is just like a run-on sentence here. So they basically took all of the disclosures that were spread throughout the exclusive right to sell listing agreement and kind of put them all together in one section here. So section 12 is now disclosures and representation. So again, they took stuff that was all over the place, including like the VIN numbers for manufactured homes. There's no pending disputes. So they basically took a lot of the disclosures that were just scattered around, and this goes from A, and I believe it goes all the way to W or X. So there's a lot in that section. It is a lot of words. I'm hoping that maybe with the next version of this, I love it all being together, but hopefully they can tighten it up. Or just clarify some section, maybe make some subsections of the paragraph, or just put them in different paragraphs. But it is a lot of information, but that is where they're going to put all of their disclosures, and they're all together again rather than spread out there. So that is all for the exclusive right to sell listing agreement changes as of February 2025. What do you think? Did they do a great job here with the exclusive right to sell listing agreement? They've made some great progress, in my opinion, with the forms this year. Hopefully, they'll be able to continue to tighten them up as response to the National Association of Realtors settlement and just the changes in business practices that we're all working through. So thanks for watching. Hope you're getting some good stuff out of this. If you like this video, go check out some of my other videos that I put here. And you can feel free to binge any of the stuff. I try to put out stuff on at least a weekly basis, including my Tech Thursdays, where I just break down a different piece of technology in a half-hour Zoom session that I do. So thanks for watching. Hope you're getting some great stuff, and hope to talk to you soon. Hope maybe we'll even see you on a class sometime soon. Thanks. Bye.